Brigitte Bardot was born in Paris on September 28, 1934. Growing up during and shortly after World War II left emotional marks on Bardot. She later said she often felt lonely as a child and struggled with insecurity, feelings that contrasted sharply with the confident image she would later project to the world. Her family consisted of her father, Louis Bardot, who was an industrialist, her mother, Anne-Marie, and one little sister. They were an upper-middle-class Catholic family. Brigitte had a somewhat sheltered and disciplined upbringing. Her parents had strict standards regarding manners, clothing, and even the people who she could befriend. From a very young age, she showed an interest in the arts. At 7, she began ballet lessons, studying at the Paris Conservatory under some of the most respected teachers of that period. Dance shaped her posture, grace, and movement, qualities that would later define her on-screen persona. Bardot did not initially dream of acting or becoming a sex symbol. Instead, she imagined a future as a ballerina. However, her mother submitted her photos to magazines, and Bardot appeared on the cover of Elle at just 15. This exposure brought her to the attention of film director Roger Vadim, who would soon change her life entirely. Bardot's entry into cinema began in the early 1950s after her Elle magazine cover. She first starred in a comedy called Crazy for Love, where she had a small role portraying a cousin of the main character. This was then closely followed by Menina, the girl in the bikini, in 1952, where she played the main character. More movies followed where Bardot was often depicted as playful and rebellious. Most of her movies were romantic or comedic and had themes of sensual freedom. While her early films gained moderate attention, the turning point came in 1956 with And God Created Woman, where she was cast as a free-spirited young woman in Saint-Tropez. The film was directed by Roger Vadim, who helped craft her screen identity and introduced her to directors who saw her potential. In the United States, this was the highest-grossing foreign film ever released, earning $4 million, which was an astonishing amount for a foreign film at that time. However, the film shocked conservative audiences with its open sexuality and Bardot's uninhibited presence. International critics described her as the embodiment of a new kind of sensual freedom, and the movie propelled her to global stardom almost overnight. Bardot became the first major European sex symbol of the post-war era, often compared to Marilyn Monroe, yet with a distinctly French elegance and rebellious spirit. Her trademark look, tousled blonde hair, cat eyeliner, and effortless fashion sense, influenced women worldwide. She personified youthful liberation during a time when social norms were rapidly evolving. Throughout the late 1950s and 1960s, Bardot appeared in more than 40 films, moving between comedies, romances, dramas, and musicals. She also released music, working with French singer-songwriter Serge Gainsbourg. Together they created hits like Harley Davidson and Bonnie and Clyde, further enhancing her pop culture status. However, by her early 30s, Bardot was already weary of fame. She was a name known on every continent. Paparazzi followed her relentlessly. Newspapers documented every relationship and personal struggle, and she became a central figure in celebrity culture long before social media existed. In 1973, at just 39, Bardot shocked the world by announcing her retirement from film and music. She was known to suffer from depression, and at times she spoke openly about feeling overwhelmed by attention. Unlike many stars who attempt comebacks, she never returned to acting. Bardot's romantic life was highly publicised and often turbulent. Her celebrity status and charisma brought intense media fascination to every relationship. Her first marriage was to Roger Vadim in 1952. She was only 18 while he was 24. Vadim encouraged her film career and shaped her on-screen image. Their relationship was heavily coloured by mentorship and artistic collaboration. However, throughout the marriage, both partners were rumoured to have affairs, and the pressures of increasing fame led to a gradual, emotional drift. In 1957, after 5 years of marriage, Bardot and Vadim divorced amicably, still maintaining a close friendship. Bardot often credited Vadim with launching her career and understanding her personality. She later married actor Jacques Charrier in 1959, with whom she had her only child, Nicolas Jacques Charrier, born in 1960. Bardot famously struggled with motherhood, later admitting she had difficulty adjusting to the role and felt trapped by expectations, comments that generated controversy. Bardot's relationships often overlapped with co-stars and musicians. She had affairs with notable figures such as Jean-Louis Trintignant and singer Gilbert Bécaud. In the 1960s, she was involved with Serge Gainsbourg, who considered her one of his great muses. Her third marriage was to German playboy and millionaire Günther Sachs in 1966. Sachs famously wooed her by dropping hundreds of roses from a helicopter over her villa. Despite the fairy tale gestures, the marriage lasted only 3 years. Finally, in 1992, Bardot married Bernard Dormal, a businessman and political figure. This marriage was long-lasting and remained until the day she died. The constant attention, emotional crises, and pressure of fame often made Bardot's love life chaotic. She attempted suicide multiple times during her youth, something she later spoke about in interviews and memoirs. Although Bardot left cinema behind, she did not fade from public life. Instead, she became one of the world's most outspoken animal rights activists. In 1986, she founded the Brigitte Bardot Foundation for the welfare and protection of animals, financing it partly by selling her jewellery and personal belongings. She campaigned against fur, seal hunting, bullfighting, animal testing, and industrial farming. Her activism earned respect from many, but also criticism for her blunt and sometimes inflammatory language. Where Bardot became most controversial, however, was in her political and social commentary. In a high-profile interview, she denounced the Me Too movement, calling it hypocritical, ridiculous, and uninteresting. She suggested that many actresses flirted with producers to get roles and later called it harassment, and said she enjoyed compliments such as being told she had a nice little backside. Over the years, Bardot also made a series of comments about immigration, the LGBTQ community, religion, and French identity. Examples include her suggesting that LGBTQ visibility was a sign of moral or cultural decline, and that public acceptance of homosexuality was evidence of societal degeneration. There were a series of comments made about the Muslim community in France where Bardot argued they were destroying and invading the country. Courts repeatedly fined her for inciting racial hatred. Bardot defended herself as simply expressing concern about cultural change and animal welfare practices, but critics accused her of intolerance and xenophobia. Her husband's ties to the French far right added further political tension around her image. As a result, Bardot transformed from beloved film icon to a polarising public figure. Today, many recognise that Brigitte Bardot reshaped cinema, beauty standards, and sexual politics in the 1950s and 60s. She represented freedom, rebellion, and natural sensuality at a time when female desire was still taboo in mainstream culture. Stars like Jane Birkin, Madonna, and many modern fashion icons have cited her influence. At the same time, her later political statements complicated her public reputation, alienating former admirers and leading to debates about whether her artistic contributions can be separated from her personal views.